It was another hot afternoon at the lake cabin, the sun beating down on the porch as I tinkered with some property maintenance. My daughter was inside, coloring quietly, and I was halfway through a fresh cup of coffee when the phone rang. 911, what's your emergency? The operator said. Before I could answer, a familiar, self-important voice erupted. There's a man trespassing on his own property. He's intimidating the HO. You need to send officers immediately. I put the coffee down and smiled wryly. Of course, it was Karen number 12, our favorite trespassing enthusiast. This one had earned a reputation for calling the authorities over absolutely everything. Mowing schedules, dock placements, the color of my mailbox flag. But today, she had really outdone herself. I calmly walked outside, letting her know I was aware of her little stunt. "Ma'am," I said, badge visible under my shirt. "I believe you are mistaken. I am the landowner here. You are trespassing." Her face paled, and the smirk vanished. She blinked rapidly, her carefully practiced tone faltering. "And no, that can't be," she stammered, waving her HOA identification as if it were some kind of shield. I shook my head slowly. "It can, and it is. I suggest you step off my property immediately, or you will be held accountable for trespassing and harassment." Behind me, my son and a couple of my friends stood casually but alert. Their presence wasn't aggressive, but it was enough to make anyone think twice before testing the limits. Karen's HOA backup arrived, thinking they could assert some kind of collective authority, but seeing the calm control, the badge, and the preparation, they hesitated. I guided Karen off the property, explaining along the way that repeated false reports could result in fines, legal action, and even criminal charges. By the time the local authorities arrived, summoned again, this time by her frantic phone calls, they found me standing calmly on my porch, Karen under warning, and the property undisturbed. The irony was palpable. The HOA's attempt at intimidation had backfired spectacularly. Instead of me being harassed, the board had been publicly reminded that their power ended at the property line. Neighbors who had watched from a distance shook their heads in disbelief, some quietly laughing at the spectacle. By sunset, the cabin was quiet again. The water reflected the sky in perfect stillness, and I poured myself another cup of coffee. The lesson had been delivered. No amount of 911 calls, fake authority, or entitlement could override actual property rights. Somewhere down the street, Karen number 12 would be fuming, unsure how to regain her lost face. Meanwhile, I sat back, smiling at the calm that comes from knowing the land, and its laws were firmly, undeniably, in my hands.